Hey guys, back here at the off-grid tiny house. One of my YouTube viewers, I believe it was Dave, wanted to see what the measurement was from the roof of the trailer down to the ground. So I have a little piece of tape up there. It's windy though. This might rip off in a second, so I want to quickly show him what the measurement is. So right here, we're at 10 feet just below the frame. There's 10 feet. So if I keep going, 11. Don't want to pull this too much. 13. So it's about 13 to the ground. 13 feet. So that's pretty much the max. We've had rain yesterday for the entire day, and it got so cold that we had to throw the furnace on in the house. So I don't know what kind of summer this is. It's pretty much non-existent. So just furthers my beliefs in global warming is a complete fraud. And this was the second time this summer that it's rained for like an entire day and then been cool for like a week after that. So I'll show you some of the clouds here. It's pretty funky. It's actually sprinkling right now. But yeah, I'm gonna go inside the trailer, check for any water damage, any stuff like that. So I was looking up on the roof there, and everything looked pretty good. Where the skylights used to be, there's actually pools of water. So when I do put the solar panels up, I'm definitely going to want to put those over top of those, so there's no water sitting inside of there. But yeah. So 13 feet to the ground from the very top of the flat roof, because there is a little edge in between. There's a little offset. So 13 feet. So hopefully that gives you guys an idea if you do go with a tiny house on a trailer. I'm gonna jump inside and we'll see you there. Alright guys, back here in the trailer now. I'm gonna start working on the manifold a little bit. I'm gonna add this section to here. So I'm gonna set the tripod up. Hopefully you guys will be able to see what I'm doing. We hope so anyway. Let me flip the camera screen around if possible. Okay, yeah, that'll work. I'm kind of looking at it upside down. So first I have my fitting here. Got the nipple, got the reducer, and I have the flare fitting. So just grab my adjustable. Hopefully this is big enough. Yes, that's out of the Job Mate toolbox. So we'll get the pipe dope going here. Yeah, it's been pretty crazy weather, like I was saying earlier. Non-stop rain and like very decent amount. If I had the roof on the trailer set up for collecting rainwater, I bet my containers would be pretty close to being full, both of them, because it was non-stop and it was pretty heavy, all for 24 hours. So it's pretty insane. Let's do the flare nut, or the flare connection next. Still quite windy, and it was sprinkling out there when I was measuring the height of the trailer. So it's definitely is 13 foot from the top of the roof line to the ground. So if anybody wants to know that, they now do. Yeah, so I also have, after this I'll show you guys, my dad was going to sell it in the garage sale, but now he said, well, you need something for refrigeration if you're going to be off grid. And so he's got one of those ambient air coolers called the Coolatron. The only downer is I don't have the connection. I guess the cord was lost for the 12 volt connection, so I'm gonna either have to go online and find it or do something like that. So I'm just tightening this in as tight as I can with my hand on the tree back here. And then what I'm gonna do is, let's see, I'll move the camera back a bit. So I'm going to jump on top of the flare connector here, and when I tighten this up, it's going to tighten all the other fittings into the tree. I call it a tree or a manifold, whatever the heck you want to call it. I call it a good thing. So as I turn this guy, it spins and tightens all the other fittings, so you don't have to manually do each fitting into the tree. Kind of a little trick. And don't worry, I will be pressure testing this once the tanks are on the back of the trailer. Now this is where it gets a little tricky. Gets a little tough now. Put the weight of my arm on there to help with the leverage. And I like to crank them in as tight as possible until I can't go any further. That way you ensure you don't have a leak. And good practice anyway. But you don't want to go too crazy, because I guess you could crack the fitting, but I've never done it. Ooh, geez, missed. I've never done it, and don't plan on to do it. Alright, that's pretty tight. As tight as I'm going to get it for now anyway. If it needs a little more tightening, I'll find out when I do the pressure test. So now that the tree's a little longer, I can probably do a strap here and a strap here on either end of the wood. So that's going to work out okay. So for now that's done. I'm going to bring you over to the Coolatron now. So we'll tilt the camera up. We'll take a walk over here. Alright, so here it is on my TV table. I'm just going to extend the legs here, guys, so bear with me. Legs on the tripod. I should show you guys the temperature too while I'm over on this wall. So, okay, the legs are out and now they're in the way, but we'll do the Coolatron first. Alright, so this is what it is. Looks like a cooler. Hold on, I gotta spin my camera. Alright. So there it is there. I'll spin it around. And so on this side, this is actually made in Canada, so it's pretty old. Inside there is a nice big aluminum heat sink like that you see inside a computer tower. And there's also a nice big 12 volt PC fan right here. So if this doesn't work, I can scrap it for parts. And here's the connector. It's a square one, and the arrows say for cooling you go this way and for heat you go this way. So it's reversible, so I'm gonna have to see if I can find that plug. So let's tilt the camera up again. We have the container latch, slides that way. This doesn't stay open very good. I cleaned this all up too, by the way, guys. So in here we have a big heat sink, aluminum heat sink. Like I say, this could be scrapped if this doesn't work. It has a divider plate that can be moved to different sections. And that's a decent amount of ice chest basically. And it's supposed to keep the contents 20 degrees below the ambient temperature. So whatever, say it's 100 degrees out, your food will be what, 90, 80, 70 degrees, and you'll probably lose your food if it's that hot out. So they're not that good, but you wouldn't want to run these on the really hot days. What you do is maybe throw a bag of ice in the bottom of this, and then use that, and don't even bother using any power to power it at that point. So this will be a little experiment, so it's called Coolatron. We'll check that out, see if I can run that direct off my charge controllers. I'll give you guys a little reading of what's going on outside, why it's so cool. Outside 17 degrees Celsius. Inside 16 degrees Celsius, 16.5. Outdoor humidity 84%. Indoor 85, and it is just about 11 o'clock a.m. Okay. So, oh yeah, I've had some questions. I put my solar wiring video up. I've had some people concerned about power loss and stuff like that. So, see where my hand is? That is one section that is right there. From there down is 400 watts of solar power going into those two switches, that charge controller, and then into its own battery bank. Now I have 5 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 400, 400, 400, 400, 400. They're each on their own separate battery, separate charge controller, separate switches. I will not have 20 switches on a power loss, with a power loss on they were basically saying that one of my YouTube commenters there, he said, well, 20 switches on your system, you're going to lose all your 12 volt voltage, and then nothing's going to work. I totally agree with that, but that's not my setup. I don't have a giant battery bank. I have 5 separate mini systems. I'm doing this a lot different than everybody else out there, because if you have one system, let's say, and something happens, you don't have any power. Let's say if I lose the first one, I have 4 extras on standby. Also, I have 3 inverters. If I have 3 of these on a load, let's say I have my TV on this one, I have an Xbox One on this one, and a computer on this one, all running at the same time. Only though each charge controller has 1 load on it, that's it. So the TV's 30 watts, the Xbox One's 45 watts, computer's 20 watts an hour. So 30 watts an hour for the TV, 45 watts an hour for the Xbox One, and computer, my computer's 14 watts, but I'll just round up to 20 watts an hour. So that means I'm only drawing that much off of the 400 watts an hour. And that's not very many amps either, because each one of these produces 30 amps, because I had maxed out the panels. So I maxed out the panels for each charge controller basically, or just about. So that means I don't have a heavy load on just one charge controller. It's spread out evenly. And then I have 2 spares. So the spares actually, this one would run, say, the fireplace, if in the wintertime, if that's when I was running things. This one would run some lights, maybe, LED lights. This one would run the TV. This one would run the Xbox. This one would run the computer. So they each have their own load, permanent load, and I really don't have to worry about draining the battery down, because 400 watts compared to 30 an hour, that's pretty good. And that's 400's a good buffer. Like, you're not going to have 400 all the time. That would be perfect conditions, and it's not going to happen. You're going to have clouds, you're going to have rain, whatever. So hopefully this clears up anything about the off-grid tiny house solar. Each one of these is a separate entity. So see that positive connection up there? 2 wires from 2 panels will run to that. Oh, actually no. 2 wires will run to the positive, but they'll be connected to 4. Okay. Well, scratch that. So I'm going to have 2 wires from the 4 panels up on the roof to there. I have joiners up there, so only 2 wires will be coming in here, because it runs through it doubles each panel up between each other, and then I only have 2 wires there, 2 wires to the negative. So picture it as that. Each one is its own separate entity, its own separate inverter and battery. Batteries aren't here yet. I don't have the wires to show you exactly what I'm doing yet, but that all comes into time. Update on the switches. I ordered 8, and I don't know how many I'm going to get now because they're on back order. Stupid. Why advertise if you don't have them in stock? Amazon and eBay, garbage. Or maybe the users on there are garbage, I don't know. But whatever. So what else? I'm going to make another video. I'm going to take this apart, the fireplace hose, and I'm going to do that in just a minute. So until next time, that's it. Talk to you guys later.